What's going on, everybody? Bunjib and Bok Choi here. No video game footage today. Just wanted to have a little chat about Formula One. The season actually started today, I should say. FP1 and FP2 earlier this morning. And just wanted to weigh in on the Aston Martin situation right now and Lance Stroll's injuries. So if you're not hardcore fans and you haven't tuned into FP1 and FP2, then you probably missed out the little exchange between Lance Stroll and his engineer. So if you haven't been following the story, Lance Stroll injured himself a couple weeks before preseason testing, hurt his wrist enough to the point where he couldn't participate in preseason testing, and Felipe Drugovich had to step in for him on one or two sessions, I think it was. So anyway, today in FP2, there was a little bit of an exchange between Lance Stroll and his engineer. Oh, goodness gracious, Kitty. You always jump in as soon as I start recording. And his engineer was asking him to compromise turn 1 to get a better exit into turn 2. And Lance Stroll came back with he couldn't. His hands were in too much pain. So I'm not really sure why Lawrence Stroll hasn't stepped in and just kind of made Lance get out of the car and make way for Felipe Drugovich. On a good day, Lance Stroll is just kind of like an average driver, and now with the injury, he's probably a little bit worse than that. So they have the former F2 champion Felipe Drugovich just sitting in the paddock, who participated in testing and didn't look to be too bad, you know. But I would think this would be a perfect opportunity to put Felipe Drugovich in an F1 car and have him do a race, just so that they can kind of get an idea of where his pace is at compared to other F1 drivers, instead of having Lance Stroll, an injured Lance Stroll, in the car and not driving as efficiently as he can. I think Lawrence Stroll really needs to step in, put his foot down, and take Lance out of the car for the betterment of the team here. Now, if you didn't see FP2, you probably missed him driving with one hand, sometimes not even one hand, on the track. So not only is he putting himself in danger and possibly injuring himself more. I don't know if any of you guys do like sim racing or anything like that, but if you have the force feedback set high enough and you hit a bump the wrong way, it's pretty jarring when the steering wheel just kind of jerks to one side. I can't imagine what it's like to be in a Formula One car with a wrist injury and having to deal with that. But apparently the pain was enough to where he couldn't hit certain turns properly. And so not only is he a danger to himself, you know, if he's driving, I saw a point where he was literally pushing the steering wheel with his left hand because he didn't have the strength in his right hand to really hang onto the wheel and turn the wheel with one hand. So he was just under the wheel pushing it. It seems a little bit dangerous to me. On the off chance that he makes a mistake while he's pulling a stunt like that, putting other drivers in danger. And I am kind of surprised that the FIA haven't really stepped in yet and said anything about it. They'll make a big deal about Lewis Hamilton wearing a nose ring or a nose stud or something like that, but they haven't made a peep about Stroll driving with just one hand through the track. So I kind of find that a little bit interesting. I think maybe if I were the team boss at Aston Martin, I would probably sit Lance Stroll out just to kind of take a look at Drugovich, kind of see what potential that driver has, and have Lance rehab his hand for later on in the season. I don't even know. I mean, it looks so painful. I don't know if he's going to make it back for Jeddah. I don't know how soon Jeddah is. It's in 1 or 2 weeks, but I'd rather have Lance Stroll just kind of hold off on getting into a racing seat and trying to drive with one hand. I understand it's early on in the season. The Aston Martin looks like it's got pretty decent pace. He probably wants to get a jump on the season and score as many points as he can, especially with Alonso as your teammate. You don't want to be spending too much time outside the car, because that gap's only going to get wider and wider as the season progresses. But yeah, if I were Lance Stroll, if I were Lawrence Stroll, I would take Lance out of the car. I know it's his son, and he probably doesn't want to take his son out of the seat, but I think for the betterment of the team, it's probably a good idea to get Lance out of there and have just Felipe drive the car for the rest of the weekend. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you think I've earned it, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, remember to eat your bok choy.